wagon to church on Sunday morning. He'd carried the corn and the taters and stuff in out of the fields in the fall, and rocks, loads of rocks he had hauled out to the rock piles for his master. But now that he was getting old, his master said he was going to take him off to the old sinkhole and shoot him. Well, the mule didn't think too much of that idea, so one night he just picked up and traveled off, going to start a new life of his own. Well, he traveled on, and he got down the road a little ways, and he heard the awfulest howling you ever heard in your whole born days. Oh, 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 oh. And he looked over on the side of the road, and there sat a big old dog, just a howling like he'd lost his best friend. And the mule said, "Now, friend dog, how come you're howling like you lost your best friend?" He said, "Oh, when I was a young mule, I could do so much." And said, "Now that I'm getting old, master's going to take me to the sinkhole and shoot me." And says, "Now," I said, "I used to go after the cows and bring them in and keep the robbers away from them at night. And now he's going to shoot me and put me in that old sinkhole." "Well, we can't have that," said the mule. "Come go with me. We're going to start a life of our own." So they traveled on, got down the road a little ways, and they heard the awfulest caterwauling you ever hear. Meow, 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 meow. And looked up there on the fence post. There sat a big old gray cat, just a meowing like he'd lost his best friend. Said, "Friend cat, how come you're sitting up there meowing like you lost your best friend?" "Oh," I said, "when I was a young cat, I used to catch all the rats around the barn, catch the mice around the corn crib, and now that I'm getting old, master says I can't do the work no more. He's going to put me in an old burlap sack, take me down to the river and drown me." "Oh, we can't have that," said the mule. "Come go with us. We're going to start a life of our own." So they traveled on, come to down the road there a little ways, and they heard the awfulest cock-a-doodle-doo you ever heard, and they looked over there on the fence post, and there sat a big old red rooster. Cock-a-doodle-doo! Cock-a-doodle-doo! Said, "Why are you crowing so sad there, Mr. Rooster?" "Oh," said, "back when I was a young rooster, said I woke the family up every morning to go to church and go to school, and said, now that I'm getting old, master says he's going to wring my neck off and put me in a pot of chicken and dumplings for Sunday dinner." "Oh, we can't have that," said the mule. "You come go with us. We're going to start a life of our own." So they traveled on. Getting pert nigh close on to dark, and they come to a real dark woods. And they decided they'd bed down there for the night, and next morning they'd start out early. So the mule laid down on the ground, and the dog laid down beside him, and the cat climbed up on a limb on the tree, and the rooster flew up and topped the tree. Now they was getting ready to go to sleep, and all of a sudden the rooster hollered down and said, "I see a light over yonder in the woods." So naturally they had to check it out. So they go down, and there's a clearing in the woods, and a big old log house there. There was lights in every window. There was music, fiddle and banjo music coming through the windows, and laughing and carrying on. So they slipped up there next to the window. And the mule's the only one that could see in. So the dog jumped up on the mule's back, and the cat jumped up on the dog's back, and the rooster flew up on the cat's back. And they looked in the window, and there was a whole bunch of robbers. They had been out all day stealing from people. They had piles of gold and silver and jewelry all laying there. They had all kinds of good food they was eating, and good drink they was drinking. And them animals, now they was pretty hungry and tired, And so they got to wondering how they could get them some of that good food. And they come up with an idea. All of a sudden the old mule commenced to bray. And the dog cut loose a howl. And the cat cut loose a meow, meow, meow. And that old rooster cut loose, cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-doodle. It scared them robbers so bad, they turned the table over. They kicked the window lights out. They tore the doors off the hinges. They tore the house down and stuck it upstairs. I mean, they was getting out of there. Well, they got down the road about 20 miles and realized they had left all their money. And so they drawed straws to see who'd go back. And this one little old bitty robber, he got the straw, but we'll tell you about him in a second. In the meantime, them animals went on in the house. Oh, they eat up all that good food, drunk up all that good drink, and they decided they was real tired and they'd go to bed. Now, the mule said, when I was back at my master's, said I used to sleep out in the barnyard. So he goes out, lays in the front yard. And the dog said, when I was at my master's, I always slept behind the door. So he went around and laid down behind the door. Cat said, now when I was at my master's, I always slept on the hearth by the fire where it was warm. So he goes over and lays down by the fire. And the rooster said, now when I was back at my master's, I always slept up on top of the chicken house or on top of the house. So he flew up in the top of the house. And they went to sleep. Now like I said, them robbers got about 20 miles down the road before they realized they had left their money. So they drawed straws, and that one little robber, he didn't want to go, but he got the wrong straws, so he had to go back. He goes back real quiet, like, climbs up on them old rickety steps, goes through the front door, which is still ajar, you know. He goes in there, and his idea was to go to the fireplace, get him a chunk of fire coal, and light a lamp. So he goes over there to the fireplace, and he's just about ready to reach in the fire and get that fire coal, and he sees that cat's eyes a-glaring at him. And he thought that was a chunk of fire coal. And he reached down there to get it, and that cat come up off the hearth with its claws bare, raked him right down across the face just as hard as whoa! Steered that robber real bad. He turned around to run, and just as he started out the door, that old dog grabbed him by the back of the leg, just about tore it out, you know. He went on out in the yard, and as he went across the yard, that old mule come up off from the ground with his hind legs and kicked him plumb across the fence. He went rolling down the road. And just as he done that, that old rooster cut loose up on top of the house. Cock-a-doodle-doo! Cock-a-doodle-doo! That robber run every step of the way. And that ain't too bad for 20 miles, you know. When he got down there, he was tore all to pieces, bloody, scratched up, and totally out of breath. Oh, we can't go back there.